uh, and here let's contain the only one settings. Well, setting is okay. Yeah, here setting is always okay at the finds. uh, well, Salam Habibi, how are you? I hope you are fine. It is me, Michaela Santa. I am here with you. Accordance with titles, yes, today we are roasting our beautiful girl, Namita Thapar. And what is the today's point? Here, today's point is here Emcure Pharmaceuticals. And now, here we can see these points. Why we are roasting Namita Thapar's today's? Because today's point is Emcure Pharmaceuticals medicines about mental health. And now, let's check it. What is the momentums at the points? Okay. Well, it is she, Namita Thapar. And now, here we can check the significant momentums. Well, the first short is the significance, control 0. Well, let's check Emcure pharmaceutical for mental health. Well, it is written that Emcure pharmaceutical for mental health is actively involved to promoting mental health awareness and providing resource for mental well-being. Chief Executive Officer Namita Thapar has been vocal about the negative impact of excessive screen times and has advocated for a digital detox. Okay. She emphasized the importance of reducing phone uses to protect cognitive health and mental well-being. It is the points of Namita Thapar's with Emcure Pharmaceuticals. Okay, now let's check it. What about Emcure Pharmaceutical medicines for mental health? It is Asterans focus on addressing the physical, emotional, and mental challenges that arise during natural phases in women's life. The launch comes as part of Encure commitment to women's health care. Now today's point is women's health at the moment. Okay, now let's check it. What is the real points? Uh, but here I believe there's a Arthur H from MQ Pharmaceutical is to destroy the human mental health. How is that possible? Here we can see moments. How Antharans from Emcure Pharmaceutical under Namita Thapar works to feminize Gal Gadot's. Here is points. We know that human masculine hormone is testosterone, where human feminine hormone is estrogen. Estrogen is to increase human estrogen to decrease testosterone. Okay, and here is written by Gal Gadot has here what is the application of testosterone in human brains? Okay, answer is simple. Human brains want to analyze that how to manufacture a plane with the velocity of 210,000 km per second. Here is flying distance would okay with would be 6300 km flying times would be 30 milliseconds. But it is problematic for feminist pharmaceuticals professional like Namita Thapar. Namita Thapar believes states that a human can be mentally healthy if and only if human brain can contains estrogen in lieu of testosterone. Hence that human can analyze that more than 21 km per hour is harmful. Okay. And now, here is the momentums. It is the significant the moments. Well, accordance with Namita Thapar, the medicine assurance from Emcure Pharmaceuticals is working for women's mental health. Now, let's take it the points. What is the mental health? Mental health is the points. It is the conditions of human brains that human would be mentally prepared to work as more productively with this condition is mental health. Now, what is mental illness? Mental illness is that human can not be mentally prepared to be productive in professions. That is the mental illness. Okay. And here we can see it is the points how estrogen destroy mental illness. It is the significant points. Here I contains the one here today we would discuss about the plane journey, automobile planes, mental health for automobile companies and mental health for sports. Okay. Now here we can see Arthur S from Emcure Pharmaceuticals promotes and cytoestrogens that can increase human brain with estrogens. And in this points, estrogen when estrogens increase in human brains, that then humans brain functional would be feminine. And now it is the scientifically truth that women cannot be productive in the professions. And in this parts, here in several countries like United Kingdom, United States of America, Italy and Israel, that this contains the man professionals and they did not contains any women professionals also. Because they know that women cannot be productive. It is the scientific points because women contains estrogen in human brains. And now, on the other hand, if you contains testosterone in your human brain, that you can be more productive. And here one profession is here the significant professions, that is automobile points. Okay, now here let's get the points. Let's get the significant realities at moments terms. Okay, now here this is the journeys. Well, now here it is the before Gal Gadot received the Emcure pharmaceutical under Namita Thapar. And here I would mention two Gal Gadots. Here one Gal Gadot is Israeli misogynist soldiers Gal Gadot and another Gal Gadot is here Israeli feminist soldiers Gal Gadot. Okay. Here I would mention military professions and the professions of sports only in the purpose of scientific. Okay. Now here we can see these moments. Israeli misogynist Gal Gadot reject the assurance from Emcure Pharmaceuticals under Namita Thapar. And what is the result? The result is Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes eliminate Iranian terrorist supreme leader Ali Khamenei. And what is the process? The process is simple. Here Israeli misogynist F-16 fighter planes departure is Tel Aviv, is the capital city of Israel. Arrival is Tehran, the capital city of Iran. Okay. Now flying distance is 21,000 kilometers. Flying velocity is 210,000 kilometers per second. Here flying timing is zero point 0.1 seconds. And now here we can say the departure time would be morning 6 o'clock, February 28, 2026. Arrival time would be morning 6 o'clock, zero point 0.1 second past, February 28, 2026. Well, the weight of Israeli F-16 fighter planes is 2 multiplied by 10 to the power 5 kilograms. Hence, here statistic energy is almost 18 multiplied by 10 to the power 21 joules. Well, and here we use kinetic powers as the method of Albert Einsteinian kinetic power method. And now here what is lambda subtract by 1? That is 4.0003 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 1s. And on the other hand, what is the kinetic powers? The kinetic equation of kinetic power is statistic energy divided by travel time enter multiple by bracket of lambda subtract by 1s. And hence here calculations is there that moments it is calculation is significance 18 multiplied by 10 to the power 21 multiplied by 4.003, and that is the answer is 72.054 quadrillion megawatts, and that is the moments. Okay, and now let's talk about. Okay, now here we can see this is the moments. Let's talk what if we contents Israeli feminist soldiers Gal Gadot. She accept estrogens from Emcure Pharmaceutical under Namita Thapar. And what is the result? The result is Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes has been destroyed by Iranian terrorists and Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei is safe and sound. Okay. Now what is process of Israeli feminist F-16 fighter planes? Departure and arrival is same. Flying distance is same, but here flying velocity is 21 km per hour. Flying timing is 83 days 4 hours. Hence departure time is morning 6 o'clock, February 28, 2026. Arrival time would be morning 10 o'clock, May 21, 2026. And here hence half of weight of Israeli F-16 plane is 10 to the power 5 kilograms. And now here is the moments we would use Newtonian kinetic power methods. Hence kinetic power is here calculation is 10 to the power 5 multiplied by 21 square multiplied by 10 to the power 6 square divided by bracket of 36 cube multiplied by 10 to the power 5 cube bracket close. Hence the answer is 1 watts. Okay. And now, well, here we can see that is the points. And now let's check it. Now we can see those points. When Astarans did not work functions on Gal Gadot's mental health, Gal Gadot F-16 fighter plane's velocity is 210 km per second. But when Astarans from Emcure Pharmaceuticals is functional on Gal Gadot's human brains, here Gal Gadot's velocity became 21 km per hour. And what is the moments? It is just because estrogens that is on Astarans. Astarans is just for mental health functions. Hence, if human contains estrogens in human brains, here we could see there's a human can be feminine. and it we call the mentally illness. And what is in this point, the human brain can contain F-16 fighter planes with a velocity of 21 km per hour. But when, but now, when Asterix is not functional on Gal Gadot's human brains, then who was Gal Gadot? Gal Gadot was masculine women with the F-16 fighter planes velocity of 210,000 kilometers per second. And now, when Gal Gadot was masculine, she contains F-16 fighter planes with a velocity of 210 kilometers per second. And here, the distance between Tel Aviv from Israel and Iran from Tehran from Iran is 21,000 kilometers. Hence, her travel time was 0.1 seconds. But when estrogen is functional on Gal Gadot contains estrogen on her brains. What is estrogen? That is human feminine hormones. And in this point, Gal Gadot could not travel 21,000 kilometers per hour with the F-16 fighter plane. She could travel 21,000 kilometers in 1,000 hours. And that is the point that how estrogen is the cause of mentally illness. And that is the point. Here we can see the moments. But now, Namita Thapar is ready to promote the Estrogen, the medicine from Emcure Pharmaceuticals for women's mental life. And now, it is the point women contains feminine hormone on her brains, and as an effect, women lost her productivity in her professions. And it is the points here we can see moments. Women can fly 21 km per hour with assurance. When without assurance, women could fly almost 21 km per minute. That is the point. Okay. And now, assurance is useful both for men and women. And here, Namita Thapar promotes feminine human brains. And that is the significant negative points for the professional life. Guys. Okay. Here we can see the points. What is the definition of misogyny versus what is the definition of feminism? Yes, the definition of misogyny is provide the healthy mental life when human can be more productive in professions. And for examples, if human want to manufacture a plane with a velocity of 210,000 kilometers per second, the misogyny provides the mental health for human brains. And what is mental health supportive chemicals? That is steroid. And what is mental health human hormone? That is testosterone. And on the other hand, what is the definition of feminism? Definition of feminism is promote mental illness. Hence, human can be no productive. Human can contain no productivity in her professions. And in this moment, here, manufacturing plane with 210,000 kilometers per second is high productivity. and a manufacturing plant with the velocity of 21 km per hour is no productivity. And here we can see women as students can contains the points chemicals of cytoestrogens that increase humans' mental estrogens that the human cannot be productive in their professions. And that is the point of Namita Thapar. And here we can see with in today's live stream story, here Astarans contains the business of Astarans medicine from Emcure Pharmaceutical contains the business medicine of 3.3 billion United States dollars. That means Emcure Pharmaceutical contains 3.3 billion United States dollars for to promote a mental illness in humans, and that is the point at the moment. Okay, and it is just well, here we mention geopolitical professions, that is in the part of scientific research. And here I would mention the next part, and next part is significance at the moment. Okay, now let's check the next part. Well, next part is sports. Okay, now here we can see let's check what happens. Well, now we are witness of ICC Men's T20 World Cup 2026, where final match was uh, between India versus New Zealand. At the first innings, India scored 255 in 20 overs. On the other hand, New Zealand scored 159 in 19 overs and he is all out. Hence, we can see this moments. India won by 96 runs. Okay, and it this facts is only in the purpose of Emcure Hospital mental health. I mean, Emcure Pharmaceutical mental health. Okay. Now let's check the summaries. Well, here Samju Sanction score is 89 runs out of 46. Ishan Kishan scored 54 runs out of 25. It is high score and second highest score. On the other hand, from New Zealand innings as a replay innings, highest scorer is Tim Shepherd, scored 52 runs out of 26 balls. Mitchell Sander scored 43 runs out of 35 balls. And here we could mention that what is the significant contributions of estrogens in mental health of New Zealand cricketers. Okay, let's check we could pick the lowest scoring batsmen. Okay, it is Rachin Ravindra. He scored 2 balls out of he scored 1 runs out of 2 balls. Okay, now here we can see 26 sum by 7 is 33. Okay, on the other hand 52 sum by 39, and that is the moments. 52 sum by 9 is 61. Well. And what is the target score? That is 256. Okay. And now, here is the now let's contain the assumptions. What is 261? I apologize. What is 256 subtract by 61? That is 255 subtract by 60. That is 195. And now, on the other hand, here we could say What is 120 subtract by 30? That is 170 subtract by 30. I apologize. Let's take a bit. What is 120 subtract by 33? That is 170 subtract by 30. What is 11 subtract by 3? That is 8. Here we can see that is the points. We need 195 runs out of 83 balls for New Zealand batting innings. And here we can see the points. That here is the points why Rochin Ravindra contains the feminine hormone in this match. Rochin Ravindra is the Indian-oriented New Zealander batsman. And here we can see these points. Rochin Ravindra contains a significant opportunity to score 195 out of 83 balls. Okay. Now, what is the points of mental health? Okay. Now, what is 195 runs? That is almost 180 multiplied by 15. Well, what is 180? That is almost 3 multiplied by 30 multiplied by 6 is 180. 18 is 3 multiplied by 6. That means here we can see those points. Rachin Ravindra contains an opportunity to score 198 runs out of 33 balls. It would be possible if and only if Rachin Ravindra would contain testosterone in his human brain. Okay? And now here we can see these moments. 67. Well, okay. I do not know what is 67 because here nothing is the calculation is matching at the moment. Okay. And here we can see this moment term at the points. Rajendra Ravindra could contest and opportunities to score 198 runs out of 33 balls with a testosterone. But here, now here we can see Emcure Pharmaceuticals is active in this match to promote the mental health medicine to New Zealand, both of New Zealand batsmen and Indian batsmen. And here we could see the points. Rachin Ravindra contains assurance medicine from Emcure Pharmaceuticals that contains cytoestrogens to increase Rachin Ravindra's human feminine hormone on his brain. Hence, he could score 1 run out of 2 balls. Okay. But now, let's check it. What about Tim Shepherd from New Zealand batting innings? And here we can see this moments. He scores and it is Tim Shepherd and wicketkeeper. He scores 52 runs out of 26. Here he contains 2 boundaries and 5 over boundaries. Okay. Now let's check it. What is 5 over boundaries? 5 over boundary is 5 multiplied by 6 is 30 runs. 2 boundary is 2 multiplied by 4 is 8 runs. That means 38 runs out of 52 runs is only from boundaries and over boundaries. And here we can see these comments. What is 52 subtract by 38? That is almost 44 subtract by 30. That is 14 runs. Hence we can see this on the other What is 26 subtract by 7? That is 19. 14 runs out of 19 balls is from single, double, triples at the moment. And what is the point? Rest 38 runs out of 7 balls are only from boundaries and over boundaries. Hence, we can see these moments. Well, here we could see in 19 balls contains no boundaries and no over boundaries. That is the represented the estrogens in tin silvered human brains. On the other hand, 7 balls represent testosterone on tin silvered human brains, because in these 7 balls, 2 balls contains 2 boundaries and 5 balls contains 5 over boundaries, and that is the momentum at the points. And here we can see if and only if trim shepherd would contain no testosterone and absolute estrogens, what would be the score of New Zealand? 159 subtract by 52. That is 157 subtract by 50. That is 107. But the target is 256. Hence, what is 255 subtract by 107? That is 155 subtract by 7. That is, here we can see this moments 148. That means India would defeat New Zealand in the distance of 148 runs if and only if Tim Shepard would contest estrogen in his human brain in lieu of testosterone. And that is the moment. Here I would say the probable information. I would present the information that can be a probable and that can be hypotheticals. Okay. And here we can see this momentums at just where is the places. The place is final match stadium is Ahmedabad. Okay. Now who reject Emcure Pharmaceuticals? Tim Selfart reject Emcure Pharmaceuticals, and Daily Mitchell's reject Emcure Pharmaceuticals, and Mitchell Center reject Emcure Pharmaceuticals. Okay. On the other hand, now let's check it about the moments. Sanju Samson scored 89 runs out of 46 balls. That contains 5 boundaries and 8 over boundaries. Okay. What is here we can see these moments. That is the points. What is 8 boundaries? That is 8 multiplied by 6. Well, it is 48 runs. What is 5 boundaries? 5 multiplied by 4 is 20. Okay. Now what is 5 sum by 8? That is 30. And what is 20 sum by 48 is 68. Here we can see this moment in a batting of Sanju Samson, scoring 89 runs out of 46 balls. Well, 68 runs is from 13 innings balls that contains 5 boundaries and 8 over boundaries. Okay. Let's check the points. What is 89 subtract by 68? That is 29 subtract by 8, that is 21. Okay. What is 46 subtract by 30? That is 43 subtract by 10, that is 30. 33. Okay. 43 subtract by 10 is 33. And now, here we can see these points. In the Samsu Samson's batting, with a score of 89 runs out of 46 balls. Here 21 runs out of 33 balls is the representative of estrogen in Samsung's human brains. On the other hand, here 68 runs out of 13 balls contains the testosterone in Samsung's human brains. What is the cause of that? Samsung scored 68 runs out of 13 balls where with 5 boundaries and 8 over boundaries. And what about the 21 runs out of 33 balls that contains only single, double, triples at the at the points. And now let's check it. What if Samsung would contain complete estrogen in his human brains? He would score 0 runs out of 46 balls. And let's check it. What is 256 subtracted by 90? That is 166. And here we can see these moments. Well, it is done 98 points here. That is the significant terms. India would provide the target of 167 runs to New Zealand. And here we can see this point. India's victory would be just kind of impossible moments if and only if Samsung would accept assurance from Emcure Pharmaceuticals, where Emcure Pharmaceuticals is under Namita Thapar. Okay, and now it is the points as the human brain system. Okay, and it is the points we could see. Now let's check it. What's going on about this? It is only the sports functions. Okay. Now let's check it. The other functions we could see that can be here. Well, Artemis to velocity to travel on sky of moon in 2026. And here that is the momentums we can say. Unfortunately, well, it is attribute. What is the velocity? Okay. Translunar injections, here we can see European. Here escape velocity would be here 11.2 km per second. That is almost 40,000 km per hour. Well, here estimates to maximum velocity is 39,000 km per hour on space. Well, would be matters 40 km per hour. As the momentums we could see. Well. And here that is the moments. 430,000 km per hour is Artemis 2's velocity. Artemis 2 is a NASA rocket, space rockets that travels from Earth planet to Moon planet, that can travel from Earth planet to Moon satellites at the significant moments. And now let's check it. What is the velocity of Artemis 2? That is for 40,000 km per hour. And here I would mention that what is the affection of mental health. Okay, I think the manufacturer of Artemis 2 is not mentally healthy, and probably he would contain the estrogen medicine from Emcure Pharmaceuticals under executive director to be Namita Thapar. And now here is the momentum, that is the circumstance points, as that is the beautiful journeys. Okay, and here we could see, let's check it, estrogen brains, when we contain estrogen in our brains, we think that 40,000 km per hour is the maximum velocity of our rockets. And that is the moment. Here some people believe that here Artemis to space mission is false as someone's propaganda. And here that is the point. It is the significant hurtful for us, because the manufacturer of Archimedes seconds is receiving arthrons from Emcure Pharmaceutical to increase estrogen in his brain, and that is the problematic we could see. Okay, now let's check it. Wow, what is the benefits of testosterone in human brains? Okay, the benefits of testosterone in human brains is significant. Here maximum distance is from Earth is 406,771. Well, round figure is 407. I have like 408,000 kilometers. Okay. Now let's check at the moments. Here is my points as I would mention at the moments. Well, what if human contains testosterone in his human brains? Here is the beautiful circumstances at the points. Well, here velocity is 210,000 km per second. And in this points, what is the travel time when the travel distance is 420 kilometers? I apologize, 408,000 kilometers. And here, that is, here I would receive my one weapons, that is calculators. Okay. Now 408,000 kilometer divided by 210,000 kilometer per seconds. And what is the result? Okay, the result is 1.94 seconds. Well, the round figure is 2 seconds at the moment. Okay, now let's take let's back to the points. Okay, now here we know the lambda subtract by 1 is 4.003 multiplied by 10 to the power negative 1. Okay, and now here we can say that what is the moment? Kinetic energy is 72.054 multiplied by 10 to the power 20 joules. Okay, now here we can see the here travel time is 2 seconds. What is uh, seven? What is 72 divided by 2? That is 36. And what is 54 divided by 2? That is almost 27. That means here kinetic power would be 36.027 quadrillion megawatt. That can possible that a human can travel 408,000 kilometers in 2 seconds, and that is the significant momentum at the points, and it would represent the mental testosterone on the manufacturer's brain. But now here we could see this Namita Thapar promotes here adherence from Emcure Pharmaceutical that contains estrogen, and here and it is the points we could see. Okay, let's check the comparison at the moments. What is feminism? What is feminism? Feminism promotes a mental health status that can be illness that the space rocket can travel 408,000 kilometers in almost several days, 1,000 hours. That means 83 days, 4 hours. Because what is 408,000 kilometer divided by 40,000 kilometer per hours? And here that is the significant moments as we could notify. Well. And here that is the subtraction points. Here we could see 408,000 kilometer divided by 40,000 kilometer per hours. That is 10.2 hours. Okay. Now let's check at the moments. What is 0.2 hours? That is 12 minutes. Okay. And here we can see the 12 minutes. Archimedes 2 could travel 408 kilometers in 10 hours 12 minutes. Yes. In this circumstance, here the status of mental health of manufacture of Archimedes 2 rocket is feminism, and is because of the Emcure Pharmaceuticals, and that is feminism. Well, what is the definition of feminism? The definition of feminism is containing the mental health status that we can manufacture a rocket that can travel 408,000 kilometers in 10 hours 12 minutes. That is feminism. On the other hand, what is the misogyny? The definition of misogyny is just to contain the mental health status to manufacture Archimedes 2 rocket, a space rocket with the velocity that the rocket can travel 208,000 kilometers in 2 seconds, and that is the significant momentum as it is the necessity for our points. Okay, and here we would say here is significant moments. Namita Thapar is promoting Emcure Pharmaceuticals to mental health patient to be manufacturer of Archimedes 2 space rocket, and that is the problematic that we could find at the moment. Okay, now here we can see this. It is the significant points of us. Okay, now let's second question is, what is the affections when Emcure Pharmaceuticals would be promoted in the entire South Asia? Okay. Now here we can see the points. Now I would frankly discuss about the Bangladeshi garments circumstance. Here, the Bangladeshi garments circumstance is very bad conditions, and here the momentum is Bangladeshi garments products has been rejected in the worldwide. What is the first? Bangladeshi garments product quality is the low qualities that it could contain. It would not be long lasting. It cannot be breathable, and it cannot contain the significant momentums as we could see. Okay. On the other hand, nowadays, why your Western country is shifting to Israeli garments products and England garments products and Indian garments products? Here is the points. How testosterone works on human brains. Testosterone works on human brains that we can generate, and garments product that can be long lasting and breathable. And long lasting and breathable garments is high quality garments. And now, testosterone promotes the mental health of garments workers, that the garments workers can generate a garments product with breathables and long lastings. And now here we can see these moments. That is the significant points that can be noticeable. Okay. Now here we can see it is significant points. Now let's talk about World War II. What is the World War II? These moments, the soldiers, British soldiers with estrogen hormones in brains is escaping from the battle against Nazi Germany. On the other hand, here the British soldiers with testosterone human brain is fighting against Nazi German terrorists. Okay, and here Nazi German terrorists is escaping from the British soldier that contains here testosterone in his brain. And here is the significance of testosterone. What is the significance of testosterone in human brains? That is the probable points. But now the problem is Namita Thapar promotes Estrogen's medicine from Emcure Pharmaceuticals that contains cytoestrogens to increase estrogens in human brains. And now here we can see this moment when Iranian supreme leaders, I apologize, entire Iranian terrorists contains estrogens in their brains. What is the result? In 1 month, 15 days of war between Israel versus Iran. In the first 5 seconds of the war, Iranian terrorist supreme leader Ali Khamenei has been dead, has been eliminated dead by Israeli F-16 fighter planes. Now, enter Iranian terrorist, enter Iranian revolutionary terrorist contains the estrogen in their brains that they could not understand that how could fight the Israeli F-16 fighter planes with the velocity of 210,000 km per second at the moment. And it is the significant points as moments. But now, in Operation Sindur, here we could notify Indian missiles, Indian BrahMos missile hits Pakistani terrorist camp and some Pakistani military airbase in the war between India versus Pakistan. And now it is the notifications that Indian soldiers contains estrogen in their brains that they could not eliminate the entire sovereignty of Pakistan. Okay. Now here we can see this point. Pahalgam attacks was conducted by Bangladeshi terrorists. But as a reply of Pahalgam attacks, Indian army conducts Operation Sindur against Pakistan army. Well, culprit is Bangladeshi terrorist and counter punching counter punching back is Pakistani army. And now here that is the result of estrogens in Indian army's brains. And now why is that? Because here is off the records. It is not an official record. The off the records, Namita Thapar promotes Estrogen from Emcure Pharmaceuticals to Indian armies. Tells that Indian army's brain contains estrogen as increased and testosterone as erased. Hence that here Indian army could not perform the Operation Sindur at the highest efficiency, and in Operation Sindur, Indian army are encouraged to find the enemy that conduct Pahalgam attacks. Well, although both of Pakistan and Bangladeshi terrorists are enemy of Indian army, but the Pahalgam attack conductor is Bangladeshi terrorist and target to enemy of Indian army to be targeted is Pakistan army. Now let's see. Here battle IQ is the significant moments, and when estrogen is increased in human minds, battle IQ can be decreased at the moment comes. Okay. Now it is the points we could be notified. Well, now here we can see this as a points we could share at the momentum. Well, some alternate contents and testosterone in his bed. Hence, he produced ChatGPT, and now ChatGPT is a best friend of us that we can share our significant points with ChatGPT. And here, ChatGPT replies that where we are wrong and where we are right, just like a friend. And here we can see this is just because of some anthem the homosexual American man contains the testosterone in his brain. Well, now here is a myth about the homosexual man that the homosexual man is feminine man. But reality is homosexual man is more masculine than the straight man at the points. Well, here of the topic is over. But now the Sam Alter contains testosterone in his brain. He is homosexual. On the other hand, here Alan Turing contains testosterone in his brain. Hence, British Army could defeat Nazi German terrorists. And here we can see the points. Now here, let's check out the moments. And now, let's talk about the normal points. Now, in mobiles, we are using Google operating system Android, and in laptops, we are using Microsoft operating system Windows 10. Okay, and now here we can see what is the points of results. Who is inventor of Microsoft 10? That he is Bill Gates. In that terms, Bill Gates contained testosterone in his brain. Hence that he could produce Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 8 that we can use it. On the other hand, Larry Page contains testosterone in his brains, and as a result, we contains YouTube that we can see the educational videos on YouTube. And here I am presenting our logical points to roast Namita Thapar, the executive director of Emcure Pharmaceuticals. And now here we can see, I think here Namita Thapar is 20 years late to present the Emcure Pharmaceutical as an established medicine company. Otherwise, we would not contact YouTube like a beautiful applications. We would not contact beautiful operating system like Windows 10, because Namita Thapar is dedicated to produce aspirants from Emcure Pharmaceuticals that promotes estrogen in human brain to destroy the mental health. And here we can see this point. Why Larry Page contains the mental health person? Well, why Larry Page is mental health person? Because Namita Thapar could not present assurance from MQ Pharmaceutical to Larry Page. Hence, Larry Page could produce the YouTube application that we are using. Okay. Now let's check it the moments. It is the significant points we could see. Well, and here I would take a breath. Oh yes. And here, let's check it. Who is the inventor of air conditioners? This is the points. Well, someone said that YouTube is created by Mossad agents. Well, I do not believe that YouTube can be created by Mossad agents, because, well, what is the purpose of application created by Mossad agents? to receive an significant information from Israeli enemies. If Israeli enemies can provide an information, if Israeli enemy is planning that how they can attack on Tel Aviv, the capital city of Israel, here YouTube the application developed by Mossad agent would capture the information at the moment. But here now, YouTube is not contains several channels to be Israel's enemies. Okay. Now here, some persons say that they are pro-Palestinians at the moment, but pro-Palestinian YouTube channels can be countered by an ordinary pro-Israeli YouTube channels. Well, to counter pro-Palestinian YouTube channels, you do not need to be Mossad agents. Okay, now here we can see this momentum at the points. But now here I think here is the moments. I think the person of 3 space 2x d0. Okay, 3 space 2 the brother contains estrogen in his brain. Hence, he thinks that YouTube is created by Mossad agents. Well, but now he forgot that to counter pro-Palestinian YouTube channel, you do not need to be Mossad agent. This simple common sense is not understood by our following brothers. What is the point? The point is he received a medicine from Emcure Pharmaceuticals that provided by Namita Thapar. Well, when you are going to mental hospitals or mental clinics, here Namita Thapar provide you assurance through the mental psychiatrist and psychological doctors is prescribe you the medicine from Emcure Pharmaceuticals because he is tied up with Namita Thapar, and hence you contains the medicines, and hence your writings YouTube is created by Mossad agents. First of all, you would know that the application would not be created. Application would be developed. Okay. And secondly, to countering pro-Palestinian YouTube channels, you do not need to be Mossad agent. And here okay. Now here you could write it here, please. Now I think you need to apologize or some contest your comments. And here now this point is I would like to read your comments and have the applied reply with to your comments at the comments. Well, now here is this points and some beautiful moments comes as we could see. Well, here you can say that what application can be developed by pro-Palestinians. The application can be developed by pro-Palestinians This can be operated in Bangladesh or Iran or Palestine. Okay. Telegram can be developed by pro-Palestinians. What is the cause? Because here they are gathering significant confidential information from Israeli citizens. Hence, well, if you want to counter Israeli citizens, you should be Palestinian agents or Iranian revolutionary agents or Russian agents. But if you are an ordinary people, or for example, if you are an ordinary Indian peoples or ordinary Bangladeshi peoples, as that you know that you can counter pro-Palestinian YouTube channels or pro-Palestinian social media accounts. You can counter them. You do not need to be Mossad agents. The simple common sense is not in your brain because you contain estrogen. And here is my point that why I roast Namita Thapar. Because Namita Thapar is promoting mental estrogen through Emcure Pharmaceuticals. Okay. And now let's check it the momentums at the points. Okay. Now here we can see. Let's talk about our let's talk about our air conditions. It is air conditions. Brand is Walton's. Here television brand is Sony. Okay. Now here we can see these moments at the points. What is the purpose of television? The purpose of television is that we can watch YouTube video on the television set. We can watch YouTube video with remotes. We can type the YouTube websites. I apologize. We can type some websites and we can read the news articles on televisions. It is the point. But now, here we can see. Well, I would contain the two televisions. These televisions is both of the two televisions is from Sony brands. Left side televisions is here develop. Left side television is manufactured in 1990, and right side television is manufactured in almost 2022. Here we can see this points. It is the manufacturer of this right side television, left side television manufacturer is containing estrogen in his brain. Right side television's manufacturer contains testosterone in his brain. And how can I identify this? Because left side televisions we can watch only the television channels like BBC, CNN, Israeli televisions. In Bangladesh you can watch Sama TV, you can watch Republic TV, NDTV, just like points. But you cannot watch YouTube video in left side televisions. But in right side televisions, if you want to watch news channels, you better watch news article website in right side televisions. That is the representative of testosterone in manufactures human brains. Okay, and now here is the momentums at the points. This is the momentum as we could see. But what if Namita Thapar promotes Estrogen's medicine from Emcure Pharmaceutical to manufacturer of Sony televisions? Then what would happen? The happen is very simple. In this, here the happen would be we would content only left side televisions and we would not content right side televisions because left side televisions we would not content YouTube, where right side televisions we can content browser to read the news articles. And now, here is we can find the momentums. Okay, and now here we can see these moments, and here that is the significant problematics Namita Thapar want to generate it. Okay, and now here it is the points. Here I would show you some points as we could say some notifications. Well, here we can see is anything is momentums. Well, I think anything would not be needed. Okay. Now here I would control the computers at the moment. Well, oh my Adonais. Here I think here we would need the what if Namita Thapar would success to produce Astarans from Emcure Pharmaceuticals to our computer manufacturers. Here we can see these momentums. Let's check. Well, computer in 1911. Now let's check it. What was computer in 1911? Well, it would be some things. Let's check the image. Well, here is now here, it is the image of 1911, the computer in the calendar of 1911. Now here we can see this is the image of computer in 1911. Well, it can be It can be functional in 2026 in India if and only if Namita Thapar could produce Astarine medicine from Emcure Pharmaceutical to computer manufacturers in India. And what would be the cost? Here I would mention later, but now Namita Thapar's mental health medicine is failure. Hence, we would contest this type of computers. It is more functional than previous type of computers. If and only if Namita Thapar would be successful. If Namita Thapar would be successful, we could contest the computer provided in image. and that is the points, is the moments. Well, these computers in image is generated by scientists with an estrogen in his brain, and this computer is generated by scientists with testosterone in his brain. Okay, and here in this momentum at the points, uh, Namita Thapar want to remove testosterone in our human brains. Hence that we cannot be analyticals in these points. Okay, now let's check the momentums. And where is he? Well, now at the first points, I have mentioned there here. Namita Thapar promotes the awareness of digital detox. Okay, and now let's check it. Namita Thapar want to promote the digital detox agenda. Hence, she promotes assurance focus to mental challenge to improve the mental health. And if assurance would be successful in the computer science engineers, we would get the computer like the image in lieu of the reality, and that is the momentums as we could see. Well, now you are free to write the comment in here, and I would read. Well, you have time for 10 seconds to read the comments, write the comments in here. You have only 10 seconds. Okay. Oh my Adonai. I think you have been gone. And now, here is the points. That is the significant moments. Uh, Now, why education is important and why testosterone in human brain is significant in human mental health. Now, now students, and here we can see Namita Thapar is a negative person for our mental health. It is the takeaway statement. Now, see you then. Khuda Hafiz. Love you.